I believe David Bayer referred to this as the impossible problem or the unfixable problem or something to this extent. And it's an issue that is at your core of your core. Like it's deeply embedded inside of you. And I wanted to get after this because I think that a lot of people are faced with this, or at least aware of it. Some people never understand their unfixable or impossible problem, as David Bayer referred to it. And I wanted to get after it in this video because I unraveled some of this in therapy, and I wanted to give this story or journey to you with the hopes that maybe it'll help you kind of figure out what your situation may be. And I'll start this off with this. There was a situation I had in high school. It was like a social friend or romantic situation gone awry, and I was talking to a friend about it on the phone, because you talked on the phone back then, right? And I said, man, I don't know how to go about this. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to solve this. And my friend said, oh, you just gotta charge it to the game. And I said, charge it to the game? What do you mean? I don't have a card. There's no game here. And so we essentially, we hung up the phone, and I was just probably more confused than I was in the beginning. And I was like, I don't understand this whole charge to the game thing. And, me being kind of the nerdy outcast type of kid I was back then, I studied it, right? And slowly learned that it was like, okay, you just let go of it. It is what it is. And we'll break this down in 3 parts, because the popular phrasing that I think a lot of people hear is let go and let God. And so we got to go into let go. Then we're going to go into what does it mean to let God, or give it to the universe, or charge it to the game. And then what does it mean to go forward after that? So the first part in letting go, people have very different verbs that they apply to this. This can be surrender. This can be let go. This can be it is what it is. This can be acceptance. And some people may see it as being like a compromise, or almost giving up the actual situation that it is, like just giving up the battle. And it's not really giving it up, because you have to understand off the bat that there is no failure in this process. This is simply you letting go of what's at hand. And this may be the toughest part, because we want to fix the thing. We want to come out with the W. We want to be victorious. We want to be the solver. We want to be the savior sometimes. But this isn't really our battle to fight. And once we accept that this isn't our battle to fight, then we can start to let go, or at least start to come into the understanding that this isn't ours. And this is a great line, and I don't really care for the algorithm if there's curse words or not here. Aaron Doughty says, that's your shit, not mine. And once you can actually engage with that's yours, that's your issue, not mine, or that's your story, not mine, then we can start to step into the letting God part, or the giving it to the universe, or charging it to the game, whatever that may be. And so the first part, surrendering, you have to understand that surrendering means you're essentially declaring that this is not something you can do alone, or this is not something for you, or you're saying that I'm not letting this into my life. I'm giving this up. I'm giving it up, and whatever force I may apply to it, whatever anything that I apply to it, it's not going to make it any better, and it's not even for me. And there is no merit to it, better or worse, bad or good. It just is. And it goes back to the statement, it is what it is, right? And so when we can assign, hey, this is not for me, and this is not my battle to fight. And I had to come into direct action with this in 2020, when I was doing a lot of community work. We were running food support for houseless encampments. We were running actions for communities that had been hit with police brutality. We were running food shelves for holidays so people could eat for free. And it came to the point that my cortisol levels were through the roof. Like I was just ready. I was ready to support, fight a fight, or, like fight a fight as in protest, or show up at city council and ask questions, or be a part of a press conference where I had to be well read and like understood and researched on the subject matter that we were taking on. But there came a point where I was like, this is none of these, not none of them, but many of them, I'm not going to fix it all. There's just no way that I'm going to be able to do it. I have to let go. And in letting go, it was very tough because I had come into contact with the impossible problem. And the impossible problem was, I need to fix my parents' marriage. And I know that seems like it's coming out of nowhere, but from the age of 0 to 4, I watched my parents verbally spar, heard them all the time. And I figured that I could fix it in one way or another. And I can't. I never will. I never could. It was never my situation to mend. And through community activism and taking on, the paths and journey of my mom and dad, what they did, I figured, well, maybe I can live up to what they do. And then, in some type of delulu way in my mind, I'll fix their marriage. Or I'll bring about the love that I didn't feel was there. And that makes sense in my subconscious and conscious mind, but I had to get to the understanding of what I was trying to actually piece together. And once I figured out that doing these things aren't going to make me any more lovable or worthy, and it's my birthright is to be lovable. My birthright, your birthright is abundance. Your birthright is all these things. And engaging in the external reality to make all these things for you that you already have, that are already yours, you understand that I don't need to fight every battle. I don't need to answer every call. I don't need to say yes to everything. I don't need to please everybody. And that childhood wound turned into people pleasing for everybody, or saying yes to everything, and then further on codependency to like the nth degree. And those weren't my fights. Those weren't my issues. Those weren't my equations and algorithms to sort out for anybody. And because I took them on, I would then go into a process of self-editing or becoming this person or creating these situations that pleased everybody, when in fact it pleased nobody. And once I was able to let go of whatever the situation or the scenario was at hand, then I was able to give it to God or give it to the universe or whatever that looks like in your situation. And once you give that up, then you're able to take in what you actually want in your life. You can't fill a cup that's already full. And if the cup is full of things that you've just continually said yes to, yes, or you're trying to fight these battles that you know are not yours, that cup can never be filled with the cool shit that you want to put in it, which for me is writing poetry, hanging out with friends, and imagining really cool albums and concerts and films and writing scripts and videos and all that other stuff. So that's the stuff I love to fill it with. And also helping people in other ways. Like I figured out a way that I can be of support and participate in mutual aid in the community without burning myself out on every single end and saying yes to everything. And so once you let go and then you let God, as they say, then we got to get to the second part, the letting God or giving it to the universe. You have to understand that there is more here than you. And so you're giving it up to that. You're letting it go to something that you may not believe in it, but there's something else out there other than yourself. And you have to accept that there's something bigger than you. And once you've accepted that, then you give it up to that, whatever that is. And it could be the game. It could be something as innocuous as a phrase as the game. Charge it to the game, whatever it may be. You're giving it up to something because it's not yours. And when you say that's your shit, not mine, you're creating that space. You're decreasing the importance on fixing everything. And you're decreasing the importance in accepting that the scenario, for me personally, that of my parents divorcing and not being together, that's okay. And it makes me who I am, makes my sister who she is, makes everybody who, it's okay, it happens. And it's not for me to fix. It's not my shit, that's theirs. And so when you give it up to something bigger, now you're really running, because you're saying, well, I don't need to like say yes to all these things. I don't need to step up to bat for every pitch. I'm gonna give it to God. I'm gonna give it to the universe. And so you give it to something bigger. You give it up to something that is just out there and is gonna take care of it on its own. And then the third part is the practice, allowing these things to pass through. I did a video about being distracted, about we talk about this in therapy, like the little foxes, how you'll be tested whenever you start to ascend to a new level, new devil. And you'll be tested all the time. And with those tests, the universe, in a lot of ways, or God, is kind of saying, you sure? You sure you want to do this? You sure you want to be in a band and tour the country? Are you sure that you want to run an independent media company? You sure you want to go to all these protests and speak out at press conferences against, state-sanctioned violence and this, that, and the third? Are you sure? Because it's going to test you, because it wants to keep you in the frequency that you've been in. So once you say, I'm going to elevate the frequency, the universe will test you, because it doesn't want you to really, just stay between this floor and the ceiling. And once you say, actually, I'm going to move up. I'm going to turn this whole situation into an elevator, and whoop, it tries to keep you in the place that you're in, because it's demanding of you to be deliberate. It's demanding of you to be declarative. It's demanding of you to be intentional and to have conviction. So once we let go, then we let God. Now we're in the realm where we're operating with conviction, and we have our things down. We know what we're going to do, but you have the opportunity to look at it all and be aware of the things that you've been passively and tacitly allowing to be in your life, and now you're able to move at a clip where you're saying no to things. And now this third space is having the autonomy. We talked about this in the past video, having the autonomy, agency, and know better to move forward, and understand that you're not going to fix those issues. You're not going to fix that childhood trauma. You're not going to get after it. You're going to let go and let God, or you're going to charge it to the game, as my friend said. And what does your life look like when you start letting go of these things and start taking on the actual things that you want to take part in? All right, hope this video was of some use. We got like a new little setup here, a lot of headspace. And this attire right now, what I'm wearing, this is from a photo shoot we did for the next album, after the next album. So more info on that later. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in.